right, before we get into the how to actually maneuver your units, I'm going to talk about various attack bonuses in morale and how morale functions on the battlefield. So you get attack bonuses for flanking. Flanking means attacking an enemy at 90 degrees on a side or on two different sides. Envelop means attacking the enemy formation in the rear or surrounding them completely. And high ground is, well, it's being on top of a long or substantial piece of terrain. Because if you've ever had to lug equipment up a hill, there's definitely a morale negative to that. And so that's what this represents. And I don't mean like, hey, lug it up that hill that's like 10, 20 feet away. No, that's like going up a 30-degree incline for a quarter mile or more. That has a significant impact on your morale. And then here we have the morale bonus. So what morale is whether or not the unit's going to stay in combat. So you start with 5, add the number of hit dice that you have for each individual in the unit. Of course, only taking the highest hit dice into account for the morale. And then when you take a morale check, you roll a d10, add or subtract these modifiers, and that determines whether or not the unit stays. If the unit flees, just remove them from the battlefield, take 10% casualty loss. And the real pain is that they can't help you for the rest of that battle, but they can help you in subsequent battles. And some of the things that are really important is like force march. If you've been force marching your units for like 7 days, they're going to have no morale. And as soon as they're forced to make a morale check, they're going to wind up fleeing the battlefield. If you're looking up, climbing up high ground while exhausted and it's a rainy day, you're going to see that that unit isn't going to stay very long in combat. And things that make you make morale checks are losing 10% of your formation. This is by your hit points. Being flanked, enveloped, a hero losing a duel, or a unit on the left or right flees. And that'll automatically proc a morale check. And then every time you have to take a morale check for things like losing 10% of your unit or being flanked, you add a marker, and that gives them an additional penalty. All right, follow me for more content.